Hello, everybody. This is Joe the Lawyer. Welcome to another edition of Analog Man Cave. Ah, yes, the map of my new area, the region that I'm going to be doing things in. I remember I used to be into like the robber barons in the 1800s, and Cornelius Vanderbilt was one of them. And he was the first of the line of the Vanderbilts. Made all the money. He started out as a poor dude in a little skiff, so, rowing, not even rowing, with a stick, pushing his little barge skiff across the Hudson or something, and he grew to be like the richest man in the world or something at one point, I think it was. But anyway, I remember reading about him, and when he went to take over the railroads and all the steamships, everything else, he would just sit there with maps of everything and just stare at the maps and plot and plan and strategize, and that's kind of what I do too. So that's me and Cornelius there. We got the same thing in common. Um, Looking at the map here, and this is where I get a lot of thoughts from. I look at it and I figure out what's going on. What am I going to do? Where are we at? What could happen? And it all starts from there, from the top down view, and I narrow down. And so that is what I've been doing with my 2E game prep, guys. What I've been doing is start from the big picture, narrowing down, as you've seen. And the last episode of my 2E game prep, I think number 4, this is number 5 now. What I did was I organized all my notes and put tasks and to-do lists and all that. What do I need to do when? And I got all my timelines in place as the relevant things that I need and some future timeline stuff. But then I had a list of to-dos. Now, as you know, I'm going to do solo games first for each of the PCs, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base PCs that are going to be there every week, and we have a couple that are going to be there when they can. Okay. So my to-dos for my pre-solo game are complete. All right. So I'm going to go over some of what I did. First thing, you're going to see my magnificent mapping ability here. Not. Uh, not at all. So I wanted to get a map of Parnast, right? I don't think I showed you this before, but yeah, this is my I'm a little Matt Jackson, but I do a very basic freaking map, very very basic, very you understand what the gist of it all is. Squares. There's nothing fancy in this map. All right, so you have so you have the streets, and this is the scale. Look at that. I did even a scale. You have some buildings here and the names of all the buildings. And just some of the basic stuff. And then going out of town, I got some arrows here to this way to the quarry and this way to the old mine, and that sort of thing. So I have that going on. I got the map done. So now there's another map for me to stare at, right? After that, I needed to do sort of I call it maybe a sub-regional map, a map where I would just show what's around like 7 miles around Parnast. Okay, so I pulled that up. Parnast local region is what I called it, right? Again, my magnificent mapping abilities here, guys. It's junk, but it works. It works for me. So here you're looking at this is Parnas, this little square here. That is it, all right? And then everything around Parnas. We're looking at the ranchers up here who have the cattle, the ranchers down here who have the horses. Over here, we got the sheep guys. This is a little ridge that goes down sharply. Some streams feed into what goes into a river over a waterfall, and a slight, lesser waterfall over here. We got the lower valley, we got the upper plateau, and this goes off into the Black Road, the old Black Road across the Anorak, and this goes up the Weathercote Trail all the way up to the Gnomish village and the elves. So it helps to have an idea what everything is all about, where everything is at. Remember, I said before, this way to the quarry, here's the quarry. This way, to the old mine, there's the old mine. So you now just have an idea of what everything is about, okay, or where to go for each thing. So that's what I wanted to have, this sort of representation in my head where I could then show, yeah, it's right here, guys, and I'll show them real quick on the map. My maps aren't pretty. If I steal more maps than I make. So that's one other thing I did, actually, was I needed a few more maps. I grabbed out of the gnome and halfling handbook. I grabbed the gnome map and a halfling map out of there, but I needed one more halfling map. I needed an elven map. I needed a map of a dwarven hill dwarf city or town. Nothing in this place is really a city. It's towns and villages. So I found a few. All at once. It was like within a couple an hour even. It was fantastic. So I found a map of like I said, I just steal shit somewhere on the internet. Some guy made this and it's fantastic. So here's an elven village. All right. So this is Flindon. This is the high elf village. So yeah, this is it. This is really nice. It's perfect. And I could label everything what I need it to be. It's not a problem. I have my write up of what's in Flendon. I'll just apply a label. This is where the Boer guy is. This is where all that sort of thing. So we're good to go. All right. And then I found a map of a hill dwarf place, Strackholm. Perfect. Perfect. I think somebody using Cardiff for this. I believe I recognize some of this. Yeah, this is it. So this is part of it. This is the part where the non-residents live. Over to the left here, I decided off screen is just where a bunch of houses are, where the hill dwarves live. And slowly they're going to transform these wooden walls into stone walls. So we have this map now ready to go. And this will be the inn, and this will be the administration. So we're good to go. We got enough buildings of variety here to cover what I need it for. We already have Glendale Student. We got Cloud Burrows, like I was saying. So what do we have here? As you could see, Hobbiton. Like, I need a halfling village. I need another one. Well, what better halfling village than to steal from than Hobbiton, right? So the players can't see this. I blacked it all out, or grayed it all out. Fog of War. They know what it is. The Green Dragon Inn, the whole bit. So we have Hobbiton here for the halfling village, and it's just enough quality to see the buildings and roads, and just bad enough quality that you can't read what the hell it says. So it's kind of perfect for me. That's a good deal. All right, now the other thing we did was I needed to find some random encounter tables, and I found this guy put out, like, oh my god, a 50-something page like random encounter table for all the 2E monsters. I mean all of them, right? From the monsters compendium and tons of supplements. There's hundreds of monsters, thousands, I think, the monsters in there, and he came up with a supplement for it. A PDF. He put them all together in random tables based on environment. So this is perfect. I'm done. I got that now. I'm good to go. So I don't have to make up random encounter tables for various environments. He incorporated all the weirdo monsters, I call them. All the strange monsters that you wouldn't think to put into a random encounter table. He went beyond orcs and goblins and crap, basically. Okay, so that was fantastic. The next thing I needed to do was to develop out what I call the 5 families. Yes, I am a Godfather fan. And so I figured this town has 5 big families. Okay, they're not even necessarily a family, but they're more of the power players. Okay, so as I mentioned before, we have the horse guy. Okay, the Forns. Jarn Forn is his name. And it's by detailing. And what I did was I put a little more information about each of their, about the household in general and what they do and how they do it. And then I created about, 8 NPCs, members of the household, whether they are a horse wrangler, a son, or a daughter, the wife, important people in a household, and a bit of a personality and how they look. All right. So at a quick glance, I could pull up, Smitty Frost. He's a wrangler. He's new and he plays the lute well. Boom, done. Frankie Sutton, he's a wrangler. He fancies himself a ladies' man. He's bald. He's always chewing a piece of hay. All right, I took that off my homage to my old landlord back in the day, Frank. So Frankie Sutton, that's Frank. So I know how to play him. So I just cued in my head, Frankie Sutton. Oh, that's Frank. I know exactly how to play Frank now. All right, so. And then I did one for Len Durko. Len Durko is the cattle guy. And my brother was going to play one of his cowhands, right? We both love him Yellowstone. So his ranger is going to be his foundation, one of the cowhands who went off to war and just coming back. So, yeah, he's going to be a cowhand. So I detailed a lot more of these guys. I got about 20 members of this household because he would know, all of them. So he's going to have a lot of background information about these people. So you got about 20 members of the household. And then we have the Clestros. They are 2 brothers who inherited their father's stock of sheep. I got John and Paul Clestro. They're both, a few people in each of them, a couple of the herders for each of them. They're some of their kids that were important. And then I picked up Renfield's. All right, Renfield's is the big tavern in town. It's the place that's been there forever. And for Renfield, it's not a family per se. It's him and his wife, but they have people who work for him. All the servant girls, the cooks, the stable boys, the half-orc bouncer. That sort of thing is what I was doing for Renfield's because he is a power player in town. He's got a lot of money. He's got a lot of influence, right? So taking Renfield's. And then lastly, I have Humphreys of Humphreys Slaughterhouse and Salting. The gnomes provide the salt and Humphreys does the work, right? He's been around forever. In fact, a little bit of history him I created was that Cletus Parnas was the bandit who used to use this place as a base of operations hundreds of years ago. And Humphrey is a descendant. He's a great whatever grandson of Cletus. So this is a little bit of history there, and there's going to be, I think, hopefully, some interesting things that could, bring out there that might be good. But Harry Humphrey is the man, the patriarch of the family, and as befits a large family going back a long time. They got a lot of resources, a lot of influence in town, some kids, and so that's it. Those are the 5 families. And I have a lot more NPCs under each one than I do normally for a regular farmer family down below. This is what I was looking for here. So we now have the 5 families. All right. Next, a quick and dirty thing. I have 3 inns. I needed to find maps for inns because I got it. You seen how I draw, guys. Kind of stupid, right? I have 3 different places where you could get somewhere to drink and maybe something to eat. I got Roscoe's Filler Up. All right, Roscoe is the name of my brother's dog. So, so what I did with Roscoe's Filler Up here is I found a map. I think it was a Pathfinder map, and I got prices on the right, so I could always have them. They're on the DM's layer or the map layer, I forget which. But yeah, so you could always see what's going on there. I got some NPCs in the inns. Now I have Jasmine's. This is the halfling who owns an inn and bar. And she's just sort of mid-level, but she has the best food. Again, prices on the right-hand side for everything, so you never have to go digging for that. And here's the rooms down below. And as I said, I got some fog of war out. That's why it looks different here. I'm using that fog of war because the players would only see this. They wouldn't see this or that down there. And lastly, I have Renfield's. Renfield's is the big place. It was back when the Zentrum were around. And I have even bigger menus for Renfield's because I was like, give me an inn with some prices somewhere that had some good prices. And I go, oh, yeah, Hamlet, the Inn of the Welcome Wench. And some guy took the prices from the Inn of the Welcome Wench. I'll reveal this so you can see it. And put them on this kind of a scroll thing here. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. A little detail. The prices scale with what I'm doing for the 2nd edition game just right. And I use this price menu as a baseline for all the other prices for the other inns. Right. So I have the meals, I have the drinks, and I have the rooms. This is just, why recreate the wheel? Make your life easier. Just steal when you can steal. For anything that anybody else put out, that's good. I mean, that's what D&D is all about, right? We all help each other out here. Okay, so now you might have noticed some tokens on these screens. This was a big freaking project. This took about 7 hours. Let me show you what I did, guys. I will bring you to the token screen because it's big. It takes a bit to load. All right, there's a lot of info here going on. I wanted to gather up every token I'd ever had from any resource any game I'd run, anything I'd bought, things I didn't buy, and just have a token for people. Then I categorized them, okay, so I could just pick and grab. If these guys come across an NPC, a human NPC, I could just zoom in, grab a human token. And these are all unique. That's the other thing. They're all unique, these tokens. I could grab a human token, drag it out, label it, and say, okay, that is John Smith. Boom, done. I have some for gnomes. I have some for dwarves, halflings, elves, half-elves, half-orcs, stro. And then I got down to some class-based ones. All right, so I have, like for this one, for example, I'll show you. I'll make it a little bit bigger. This is the thief. All right, old school kind of a thief guy. So you ever have a halfling thief? Boom, I got a token for him. I got priests, magic users, druids, paladins, the whole bit. Okay, and then special in case I create something weird along the way. Barbarians, warlocks, sorcerers, tieflings, dragonborn, cambions, witches, and cultists. All the various classes that the players don't even know they're going to be encountering. So that took a while. Once I did that, the thing that took the longest was, as you guys saw, I have a ton of NPCs written up for Parnast, like a ton of them. All right. In fact, I have exactly this much of them because I wanted to make a unique token for each and every one of these NPCs that I'd created. Okay. Everybody looks a little bit different. Every token has a name. And if they have any sort of class stats, they have hit points going. Okay. So I have tokens for, I call it Gen Pop, the general population. This is mostly workers, day laborers, people like that. Okay, and I actually did a little kind of a labeling system here. It's kind of interesting. You'll see if you scroll in, I have Caulk W. That means worker. He's just a worker. He's just about half dozen, rather a dozen and a half or so, just guys who are in town, just they live in the boarding house. The farm down the hill needs extra help. with whatever. They'll go down there, make a few silver, come back, spend it in town. Those are those kinds of guys. I have a trapper, miner, a couple miners, a few fishermen, just the guys who just go there to day workers. Okay. And then I have the tradesmen. Remember my professions list? I have a token for each one of these guys and gals. All right. So I mentioned Fred Ford, the tailor. Well, there's his token. That's what he looks like. And there's his wife, Francine. They both work together. Sam Hatch, the bone carver, right there. Every profession, every person I mentioned has a token. Okay. Then we have farmers. I'm not going to create, there's about 40 farms in the area. I'm not going to do one for each thing. But what we have here, Jim Neal, F, farmer. John Flanders, F, farmer. Okay, so we have a bunch of farmers, and some farmers we have the same name because they got their kids here. Linda Willow, farmer. Holly Willow, farmer. So they're also laundresses. They wash clothes for people. All right, and then we have the 5 families. We have the Clestros. All right, these are the tokens I made up for the people I've detailed for all the Clestros here. Damn, I just moved that label there. All right, and then we have Paul Clestro and his people. We have Renfields. All the people I described about Renfields are all here. Everybody has a token. Forn, the horse guy. Durko, the cattle guy. A lot more Durko people, just because, like I said, my brother knows these people. His character would have more knowledge, so there they are. Then zoom out a little bit, and we have Humphreys, the other place, where there's the Salter. We have Roscoe's Filler Up. We have Jasmine's. Oops, what did I do? There we go. Okay. We have some traveling merchants because they will be merchants in town. We have Mythos, the apothecary, Philip Gent of books. We have Barnock, the hill dwarf merchant who lives close by. We have the religious people in town, the priest and acolyte of Shantia. We have Gideon, the druid, Simon Chester of Lathander, who runs the temple in town. We have hirelings too. That's one thing I did. We have Sveen Desh, a torchbearer. You guys, if you don't know about my hirelings, look at my hirelings video I just put up a little while ago. It's really good, I think. And I detailed what I do for my hireling system. Okay, we have Borax Clare, another torchbearer, Ezra Nord, a halfling slinger, and Andy Tree, a light crossbowman. And each of these guys have a personality and skills and a character sheet. For example, this is the character sheet for Borax Clare. I got some ability scores there. This is a basic 2nd edition character sheet. And his attack table, and it's really simple to do. He got his weapons here, his attack penalties or bonuses, mostly penalties because they're hirelings at this point, saving throws, and some basic equipment that they're going in with. That's all. That's all you needed to do, really. It's really simple. Okay, and then we have some of the classed people in town. We have 2 guys who are rangers who visit the town once in a while, and then Klinger, who's a member, the head of the militia, who used to work for the Zentrum. And then I'm going to create, as I need it, some people who they meet in the festival that's coming up, because this game is starting with all the group is coming together at the festival. So that's going to be fun. Everybody's going to get together there. So this took a lot of freaking time, I got to say. I mean, the initial thing, getting all these tokens sorted out for everybody, for just a general human, gnome, thief, tiefling, blah, 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 that took a good solid day. And then the ones for Parnas took another solid day. It's something else, because in a lot of cases, I did not have a token. I had to go and find one. So I'm Google searching things, and I'm using the old token stamp program. If you guys don't have this or haven't heard of it, token stamp is fantastic. All you do is any picture, you drag it over, literally drag it to this webpage, put it in the middle. You can center it, size it. And essentially what you're doing is then you download it, and boom, you got a token. So it's a Roll Advantage. That's the website, ROLL advantage.com/token stamp. It's fantastic. I highly recommend it. It's simple. There's nothing needed in terms of brains to figure this out. Okay, so anyway, that's token stamp. All right, back to this. Now, so we have the NPC's tokens. Now, let me bring it back to the inns, because I'm going to show you what I did, a little trick here. Like, you look at Renfield's, and you see people in the inn. These people came from that master Parnas list, because once I had that Parnas list of all the people, I just literally copied it and pasted it. See that in the bottom there? I copied and pasted it to this page. And so I have every person in Parnas copied and pasted under Renfield's, under Jasmine's, and other Roscoe's. And so every day I could change up who's in the inn and where they're sitting, who they're talking to. I drag the old ones back to where they go. I put the new ones in there, and every day you could change it up. And that way the inns are a dynamic place. They're not a static Oh, same people. There's Bill in the corner again, huh? He never moves, huh? You know, it makes it a little bit more real, a little more interesting. You get to see who's around. It's like a regular bar. You know, when you go to your regular local bar that you go to often, and you walk in, and the first thing you do is, hey, I wonder who's here. You look around. Oh, there's Jim over there. And, oh, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, man. That's exactly the feel I was looking for with this. I wanted to have it a real live, dynamic kind of an environment here. And so for each of the bars, we have it for Renfield's. You look down at Roscoe's here, same thing. All the people at the bottom, I can just drag them up. And the same thing for Jasmine's. And I could drag them back, drag them forward. The only thing I got to keep in mind is that if the characters are at Roscoe's or Jasmine's and then they go to Renfield's, they, hey, then I just see you at the other bar. Yeah, I ran fast. I got to make sure I don't duplicate. So that's the only thing. But that's nothing. I mean, nobody cares about that much, right? So, like I said, I did a lot of work with these NPC tokens. That took a lot of time. And once I was able to get that done, though, it was kind of cool because what I was able to do is then focus on the solo adventures, which was great. So once I did all that, it was like I almost had a brain block. You know what I mean? It's like I got to do this first, then I could think about the other thing, and that's kind of how it was. Like I needed to think the solo stuff, but I'm like, no, I got to do this first. Maybe it's my OCD. I need to do things in a certain order. But once I got that done, I was perfect. Now I can actually think about adventures, and it all started flowing together. Okay, so the only thing I need to do left of my to-dos before the first solo adventure, which, by the way, is tonight with my brother. This is Sunday, January 1st, so I'm playing tonight with my brother. I'm recording this at 11:39 right now in the morning, and tonight we're going to be having our first solo game. So I'm going to talk about that in a minute. I got some cool ideas. Now, the other things I needed to do were paperwork related. I created a binder. I wanted a hard copy because I'm old fashioned. So I put in there the random encounter tables, a few handy reference sheets that I found in various things like the Castles and Crusades had a great page, a couple pages about tracking, little details I could throw in. You find spore of whatever, things like that. Broken branches here. So I created the DM screen. DM screen I have printed out the 2E version and I laminated it, so I have that all set. I have the Weird and Wild book, which is good for overland travel, which I think I talked about in another video. I have the 59-page random encounter PDF, like I said, and detailed some more of the people. So now I am set for the solo adventures. Once I figured this out, I said, wow, now I can actually think about it, and it just flooded into my head. It must have been like the subconscious was going the entire time. And so now it just all flooded into my head, and I was able to just really think about it. And my brother's going to be first. Now, he is a veteran of the war that his characters were involved in. So it's not a direct connection to a past character, but he's going to come into town with PTSD and have to find his place and deal with what's going on and just sort of restart his life. So that's what he wanted to do with his character, which is cool. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm not going to get into the solo adventure details here because I know he's going to listen in. So I don't want him to know what's going on, but what I'm going to do for you guys is tonight, once I write out and get the maps for everything and figure out what I'm going to do with the solos, just put it down in concrete terms. I'm going to do a video, and I'm going to do a video on this solo game with my brother, and I'm going to do one video for each of these guys, and I'm going to use the same format for every video that I do, because I'm going to split my adventure video recaps in two. The first part is going to be recorded before the adventure takes place. It's going to be my thoughts. Here's what I did. Here are the encounters. Here's what I prepared. Here's how I think it might go. Here's some ideas that back of my head I have planned in case it goes this way, in case it goes that way. I'm going to go with the flow. And I'm going to tell that in the video. I don't know how long I'll spend, 10, 15 minutes. And then I'm going to just save that video. And then I'm going to play the adventure. I'm going to run the game. And then afterwards, the next day, maybe, or that night after the adventure, I will do a video of how it worked, what happened, how did it go, what did he do? Did he go off the rails? Did he do things I didn't expect? How did I deal with it? How did I cope with it? What things did I pull out of my butt to figure it out? And I think that'd be interesting because it's me pre-adventure saying, here's what I'm thinking is going to happen. Here's what I think of how it might go. But as with all old school things, it's not a railroad. You never know how the hell it's going to go. It usually does go off the rail, especially with this group of people. And so I'm going to have a how do I think it went, how I think it's going to go, and then how did it actually go video. Maybe I could include some of the people too. Like maybe after the game, I get my brother in there and say, what do you think? How'd it go? And we'll record something for you guys, and we'll figure it out, which would be kind of cool. and do a little game review and see what they thought about it. So I think that'd be kind of fun. You guys will see both videos back to back in one. Okay, so 10 or 15 minutes on the prep and 10 or 15 minutes on the post, and you get to enjoy and see how good or bad I was. We'll all learn that way. I'll be honest. It'll be brutally honest, and then I'll say, yeah, I fucked that up or whatever it is. That's just why lie, right? We're all human. Nobody's perfect. So, in any case, this is everything is now done for the solo video, the solo games. I just have to make 2 more NPC character sheets for the 2 hirelings in town. Won't take but a half an hour most tops. And at that, we're good to go. So I'm going to write it all down. Then I'm going to do a video recorded around, 6:37 tonight, part 1, and then run the game tonight. And then the video for part 2 will be made soon after that, maybe tomorrow, maybe right after the game. And I'll drop that video for you guys on Monday, probably. Okay. So thank you very much for listening this long, guys. 25 minutes. I hope it helped you in terms of how I prep and what I do. And some people look at me like I'm a freaking lunatic because, oh my God, you put too much work, blah, blah, blah. But I kind of need to. The more I prep, the easier it is to wing it. Okay. I want my winging it to be consistent in every way, with theme, with people, with plot points from the past. And that way you have a smooth flow. It has to make sense to me. It all goes back to, where do the orcs take a crap? I say it over and over again. You laugh, but that's it. It all has to make sense. Everything has to make sense. So the more I prep, the more easily I can wing it later. All right. Well, anyway, hey guys, like and subscribe if you enjoyed it, and more videos to come. It's been a little slow week because of the holidays, but more are going to come. I got good ideas for the new year, and so like, subscribe, add a comment. I always respond to every single comment that you guys leave in the YouTube comment section. So please do comment and let me know what you think, and let me know what you might want to see. We're starting a new year here. If you want more different, please let me know. I'm looking forward to all your input. Okay. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.